upon waking up. Oh, no, hold on, let me start. It's my second video of the day. It's like 4 in the morning. No, 5 in the morning. It's getting light outside. But this is part 2 of what if rimuru was a hybrid. Let's get into it. So upon awaking, Rimuru had noticed the change in Callus, as it was quite big. And so was he. Rimuru would inspect Callus and notice that the crystals in his mane and on his tail were the crystals in the cave that he was born in or reincarnated into. And he wonders if he can actually make those crystals. But that thought is interrupted by Ranga. Because Ranga is somewhat jealous of Callus. It's not just because the way he looks, but it's more that Rimuru is paying such close attention to him. But Rimuru reassures him that he isn't replacing Ranga. I keep saying Ranga. It's Ranga, I think. Or maybe they're both wrong. I don't know. Rimuru would revert to his slime form and hop on the back of Ranga. At the same time, Gapta would show up and tell Rimuru that they were running low on supplies and need better materials for like weapons, house building, and all that good stuff. So upon hearing this, they create a little party, like a little group of Gapta, Rimuru himself, and a couple other goblins, and they set off toward the Dwarven Kingdom. When arriving at the Dwarven Kingdom wall, Gapta and Rimuru would proceed by themselves, as they don't want to draw too much attention to them. And as soon as they get in line, they would begin to get picked on by 2 random people trying to get into the Dwarven Kingdom as well. This would cause Rimuru to revert to his Kijin state and use his menace ability like he did in the original, but he doesn't use his mimicry of the Star Tempest Wolf. And this would scare off everybody in the line and even make some of them pass out like it did in the original, thus landing Gapta and Rimuru in prison. And Rimuru gets out the same way he did in the original by helping them with the 3 people that had got injured in the mines. And this is how he meets the blacksmith. Wait, what? Was it? No, I can't remember his name. I believe it's pronounced Kajin or Kaijin. It's Kajin, I think. I think it's Kajin. But that's how he ends up meeting Kajin. And he would ask him if he could help with weapons and house building and all the necessary things. But he would tell Rimuru how he was busy, as he had been given a task to create 20 longswords because they might be going to war. So in the original, Rimuru would end up reverting to his slime form and using the crystals to make exact copies of the longsword he had already created, thus leading them to the Butterflies in the Night, I believe. That bar where he met all the elven girls. And Rimuru is still Rimuru, so he had a good time. And everything, like, from the minister dude, I think he was a minister, whatever he was, from like when he walked into the bar, started like clowning on Rimuru because he was a slime, and then getting punched in the face, to the jury, the trial, everything. All that happens like in the original. Now, in a distant village from the Goblin Village, it was not too far away. There would be 3 adventurers, and yes, I know these are the clothes they got after they met Rimuru and the goblins, but I don't have time for that. So, they would be assigned by the guild. These 3 adventurers would be assigned by the guildmaster to go check out the forest. Since Veldora's disappeared, they're gonna need to make sure that the monsters aren't, like, out of control. And on their way out, they see a girl with a mask. Her mask is pretty weird. It's not like a normal mask. It has multiple foreign markings on the mask. But she asks if she can accompany them on their journey. And the 2 guys are reluctant, but the girl pretty much the blonde girl, Erin, her name was, or Erin. Either way, she kind of just forced it to happen. And the 4 travelers or adventurers would begin their journey. Rimuru would have made it back to the Goblin Village from the Dwarven Kingdom with Kajin and his 3 brothers. And while at the village, he receives notice from Rieger that 4 foreign humans have come to the village. So this would cause Rimuru to go out and see them. Now, he welcomes them in with open arms since they are humans, and one of their rules is not to hurt any humans. So, their stay goes like the original, where Rimuru finds out that Shizu is the girl he's seen in the crystal ball, and they get along fairly nice. So after the days where the adventurers are staying with the goblins, upon leaving, Shizu starts to freak out. No one knows what's happening, but she's screaming and hollering in pain. Until finally, Ifrit would then burst into the sky. Using his flames, he would then start launching fireballs all around the village, destroying some of the houses that were already built, and hitting some of the goblins in his rage. This would cause Rimuru to revert to his Kijin form, and he would start to fight with Ifrit. His hands would start to become furry and grow long claws as his fangs begin to lengthen, and he would dash at Ifrit, slashing his chest before kicking him in the gut. As he would then cup his hands together as if he had just launched the Kamehameha wave and shoot black lightning straight into the chest of Ifrit. This would send Ifrit flying, as he would then use Fire Circle, and he would engulf Rimuru in flames. Thinking he had won, he would start to walk over to Rieger and the other goblins, but then he would be bound up by threads, and he would turn his head to see Rimuru was untouched by the flames. Rimuru would then use his sticky thread. Something's in my eye. Okay, I got it. Never mind. Rimuru would then use his sticky thread and pull Ifrit in before punching him with his free hand, sending him into the ground. And then, while on the ground, Rimuru would use his predator ability, eating Ifrit whole. Now, after eating Ifrit, Shizu would be laying down on her bed. This would end up being her deathbed. And her last request to Rimuru would be the exact same, as Rimuru would then eat her. His Kijin form, for some reason, would get smaller, but his body would become a little more lean than in the original. He doesn't know why, but it just happened. He would also gain the ability of Degenerate and the Black Fire ability after using his degenerate ability with the Fire ability and the Black Lightning and whatnot. After a couple of days after the incident with Ifrit, the village began to build better houses and better weapons. And Gopta and the Goblin Riders would have went out to go on a hunting mission, as they were going to have a big feast tonight. They were going to have a big feast tonight. And Ranga was going to stay with Rimuru, but Rimuru told Ranga to go with the hunting party just in case something bad happens. And this would be the best decision he had made yet. For when hunting, five ogres, and yes, I know these are their later forms. Once again, I don't have time to go looking for their ogre form. You know how hard it is to... Never mind. 3 ogres would have attacked Gopta and the rest of the goblins, and Ranga would report back to Rimuru asking for help. And Rimuru would put on the mask that Shizu used to wear, as it masks his aura, and he would rush over there. And I forgot to put the horn, but we're just gonna act like it's there. Rimuru would stare at the 5 ogres, and they would stare back at him. And he knows there's no talking this out. So he would dash at Xion, about to be Xion. I'm going to address them by colors, because they don't have their names yet. So he would dash at the lavender-haired ogre, and he would punch her in the gut, using his sticky thread right after to wrap around her, binding her together, and using his the steel thread, I think it was called. He would suspend her in the air. So no one, he used the steel thread to do this, so people couldn't easily just cut her down. Then he would begin to fight with the blue-haired one, and he was fairly easy to fight. He didn't pose a threat, as he would throw multiple punches that Rimuru would dodge before slamming him onto the ground. Then he would turn over at the pink-haired one and hold out his hand, releasing the paralysis breath right into her face, making her fall stiff. The red-haired one and the old ogre would then begin to sheathe their swords, and in a blink of an eye, the old man was behind Rimuru, but Rimuru already had his sword drawn and was facing towards the ogre. The old man was surprised, as he knows he's pretty fast, but Rimuru is on a whole different level. As Rimuru would block the attack, the old man that had swung at him, and Rimuru would then kick the old man in his ribs before grabbing his legs and slamming him onto the ground. He would then turn back around to be eye to eye with the red-haired one, and the red-haired one was able to get a clean hit on Rimuru. But as Rimuru was going to be sent flying, when his feet got lifted off of the air, he would kick the red-haired one in the chin before flipping back and landing. He would be staring at the 2 ogres as they were getting ready to attack. But first, he grabbed the mask on his face and put it down on the sidelines, knowing that he's going to have to get serious. His aura would then be released, and he would leave the 2 ogres in shock. And then they would realize that he was an ogre as well. Well, they think he's an ogre, but he's actually a Kijin. Then, in one hand, Rimuru would have black lighting, and in the other, it would be a black flame. he would dash at the old man at speeds the old man couldn't even comprehend, and shoot him with the lightning, before holding his hand out at the red-haired one and shooting the black flames at him, engulfing him. He held back, of course, as he didn't want to kill them, because he has no hostile intentions. Well, he had no hostile intentions. The ogres would then get back up, weakened, and rimuru would cut the lavender-haired one down and help the pink-haired one up. He was going to go help the blue-haired one up, but the blue-haired one had already gotten up himself. He would invite them back to his village, and they would all go. The red-haired one would ask him, why is he taking them to their them to his village, even after they just fought? And Rimuru has two answers. One, because he trusts you guys not to do anything, and two, because he can just beat you guys up again. And the red one is like, alright, I see. Well, he doesn't actually say that, but he nods. And one alone, the old man ogre would begin to talk to Rimuru about how their village was destroyed by many orcs, and they were the only survivors left. And they would begin to talk about how they were eating each other, as according to the blue one, when he had went back there was literally no bodies. Everything had been was just gone. That's where I'm gonna end this one off. Hopefully you guys liked it, and if you didn't, I don't know. This is that. Goodbye.